All right, we are back again, and in this tutorial for Premiere Pro, we're going to review a little bit of those keyboard shortcuts. We are also going to go through the term sequence, look at the project panel in more detail, and we're going to show you how to do a lower third. That'll finish up the news package that you have been assigned. All right, so let's get started. On your desktop, you should have had a folder for the news story, and inside that folder, you've got some A-roll, some B-roll, and news story practice. That is your project file for Premiere, so double-click it to open. All right, this is what mine is looking like. Hope yours looks about the same. We're back with our reporter. We're going to take a little bit of time to look through what's known as the project pane today. I've got mine set right now to list view. I'd like to switch over to icon view to start. These are all the clips that we imported to use on our timeline, if you remember. Got a reporter, you remember this. You've got two clips that are interviews. B-roll, that's the police line. There's another clip in here too that we didn't use. And then it's very odd that we happen to have a reporter and a reporter down here. So let's talk through what I see on the screen. First of all, there are two icons on this video. I'm going to show you what they say if I hover over it. It says the video has been used one time. That's a lot of information that helps in understanding what your project pane is telling you. So if I look at some of these other ones, these are blue. That means I've used that video, and it says 2 times, interesting, and I've used the audio 1 time. Here's my reporter, remember her, 1 time, 1 time. Oh, here's that scene I didn't use. It's grayed out, haven't used any of it. And on the police line, it shows that I've used video, but no audio. That's quite a bit of information. Let's delve a little deeper. I'm going to go back to list view. You can resize any of those columns, but it really makes it hard to see. So for any of the panels in Premiere, if you press the Grav key, and I know you have no idea what that is, it opens up any of the panels full screen. Here is all the metadata about all those clips that are in our program. We will get into metadata later. I just wanted to show you. I can do this with any of these panels. So I'm going to click on the timeline panel, click the Grav key, and now I can see the whole panel. It's zoomed in for the whole screen. It's a great little toggle switch. I want to know why I see reporter at crime scene and reporter at crime scene. It looks like I've got 2 of the same clip. But notice the icon next to them. This one at the bottom is the actual clip that we imported into our project. This one is known as the sequence. Because our project panel shows everything that we use, including any kind of special effects or graphics or any type of clip we bring in, it will show us what we're creating as well. And we have been creating a sequence on the timeline. And a sequence is really just a holder for all the different clips that you edit together and all the special effects and the settings and a variety of other things. And the way I know that this is the sequence is not only that it says sequence when I hover over it and you see this little icon for sequence, but at the top of my timeline, my sequence is named the same thing. So I'm going to rename it because that's very confusing. And I can either right-click on it and find in here this long thing that says rename, or sometimes I like to just triple-click on it and it opens up the editing. I want to call this news story. I'm going to click off of it. Watch how it changed the name here and here. That's because in Premiere you can make multiple sequences. You can even use multiple timelines if you need to. So as you get into bigger and bigger projects, hugely important. Speaking of bigger projects, we got to get this one done. And if you remember, our reporter started our video and it was the same clip where she did the outro. I'll show you what I mean. Here's that reporter at crime scene. I'm going to bring it into my source panel. And since I'm working in the source panel, I'm going to click the Grav key.
Comfort to the frightened citizens of New York's Upper West Side. This is Amy Redding, live from...
So that's her outro. What I want to do is make a new in point and a new out point. I'm going to actually start the in point exactly where the out point is, using the keyboard shortcut I for an in point. And now let's listen for the out point.
This is Amy Redding, live from NYCN News, New York. Cut. How...
She continued talking after her. Right here, I'm going to scrub through this. I'm just clicking and dragging the playhead to scrub. And I'm going to find a good out point. You can always use the arrow keys right and left to go frame by frame through this if you want to get exactly at the end of the report. And I can see that the frames are moving over here. Let's go an out point with an O. And there I have it. That's what I want to take to my timeline. Let me click on that Grav. You're going to walk away with a great new word. Now, I could just drag this down to the timeline, and I agree I could, but I want to remind you that if you're using a lot of clips and you're going to start doing a ton of editing, it's best to be as organized as you possibly can. And so I would suggest that you come up here to clip, make subclip. You can also use Control U. That one I don't always remember, but Control U. And this time I'm going to call it outro and click OK. Now I've got another subclip and a clip. I can keep track of the one at the beginning and the one at the end. Just really handy to do. All right, I'm going to click and drag this down to my timeline. It's going to work really nicely. Let's see. Remember, she was talking to her interview subject, and then...
This is Amy Redding, live from NYCN News, New York.
Time to add some text. You can start right here using the type tool if you'd like, but it's better to click on the graphics workspace because you will get a lot more that you can work with here. And the text tool is right up in front of you. So let's go ahead and write some things. Her name is Amy Redding. First of all, NYCN News. Over on the right are the ways that we edit and browse. So I'm going to edit my text. You can see right here is our text, and I'm going to scroll down and I want to edit this. First thing I want to do is change the font. I want something that looks more like a news station. That looks better. Now Amy Redding, we could probably leave, but I would like to change that one too. Ought to be a little bit larger, just my own personal opinion. And so we're going to come down here, and you can just do it by percentage. I get it up to, I would say 130%. It's probably about right. And for our color for Amy Redding, let's pick something a little different than what you see there. Maybe a very, very pale blue. Yeah, something like that. Okay, I'd like to change over to the pen tool, click and hold, and we're going to create a rectangle. This is going to be our lower third. So we want to cover the entire text. And I want you to see what's happening up here. It's starting to layer all of these pieces of the graphic. Every time I make a change, here is the original, here are the changes to the text, and then here at the top is that shape I just made, that rectangle. I want to move it to underneath the text, so I'm just going to click and drag it down. There we go. Still highlighting that shape. I want to change the fill to a nice bright color. Looks pretty good. If you need to work with the selection tool and just sort of tweak, you know, exactly lining it up perfectly, might want something more like that. All right, I've got a lower third, but I'm not done because I want this graphic to move. And I can do that a variety of ways. Sure, we could get into keyframes, but I haven't taught you keyframes yet. So we're going to do this a little simply. I'm going to get out of the graphics workspace and move over to the effects workspace. Lots of effects to choose from. They're going to be down here in the lower right-hand corner. And the effect I'm looking for is one called Push. It's under the video transitions. I just did a search for it. Push. Grab this effect, hold down the mouse key, click and drag it to the beginning of this new graphic. All right, let's take a look at what this looks like. You ready?
From NYCN News, New York.
So it slides in. Pretty nice. I noticed that my graphic is in the wrong place, so I'm going to slide it over on the timeline to make sure it starts as soon as she comes and does the outro. Let's watch that again.
This is Amy Redding, live from NYCN News, New York.
Not bad. I think the graphic needs to slide off the screen as well. So I'm going to click, bring this push, and you can see how they attach. You can see that special effect on the graphic. It's not on the video clip, it's on the graphic. So let's see what's happening here. Oh, that graphic is coming off the screen in the wrong place. That's not where I want it to. So I'm going to select, and you can tell I'm just selecting the video transition there called Push. Now let's move this workspace a little bit further down. Here are all the changes that I can do to just that special effect. And we could change the duration of it. We could do all kinds of other things to change up, like the position it comes in. You'd be really surprised at how much you can do with just the set video graphics that are there. What I want to do, just reverse it. Just check that box. So let's preview this. I'm using the space bar just to play.
This is Amy Redding, live from NYCN News, New York.
Not too shabby. All right, and that's the end of this video tutorial. Went through quite a few things in a hurry, but hopefully you don't forget to Control S, save your project, and we will finish this one up next time.